Hey everybody, Mo, I don't even know my own name. Hey everybody, Mo Morales. It's been a tough week plus of debating whether or not I wanted to leave Sony to jump into a whole new system, mainly the X-T4 by Fuji. As I mentioned before, I love the Fuji colors that come out of the camera when you're using your JPEG settings. You get all those film simulations, and it's just amazing, beautiful color, and the details just second to none as far as any other cameras systems JPEGs are concerned. That being said, I was in no rush to actually start a whole new camera system for my professional work. So I figured, let me find a compromise. So I ended up buying a new lens, the Sony 20 millimeter f 1.8 full frame, and I loved it. Used it for a couple of days, and I decided, you know what? It's not really fixing the problem I have. It's not replacing my need for better JPEGs. And the need for better JPEGs is specifically for me. It's specifically for my personal shooting. Professional work, I don't work with JPEGs. I'm in RAWs all the time. So Sony colors, Fuji colors doesn't come into play because I have my own color settings. What I wanted to do was have a system where I can just go out to the street, shoot, and maybe just post directly from my camera, upload it to my phone, and with very little manipulation, be able to post it to social media right away. It's personal work, it's my fun work, so I didn't want to make it a job, unlike my regular professional stuff, which I don't mind working on because someone's paying me. So there's a lot of motivation to get it right and make it beautiful. So what I ended up doing was I ended up taking the lens back. And then what I did was I said, you know what, don't give me the money back. Let's do, what do you have in house used by Sony? I mean, by Fuji, not Sony. So the guy said to me, we have a couple of bodies available. We have the XT2 in good condition, or we have an XT30 in open box condition. And we also have a 18 to 55 lens in an open box condition too, which if anyone knows anything, the 18 to 55 is one of the best kit lenses out there to start with any system. I can't think of a better lens out there in the kit format than that one. So of course I jumped on it. I took the XT30 thinking I needed something newer. I needed it to be super high tech because of my gas needs. And I figured it would also be supported a little longer by Fuji down the road. It had better autofocus. It had so many other things that were to its advantage. So I took that in the lens and I left. Fast forward 36 hours or so later, I'm at the store returning it. My very first experience with it was horrific. The form factor of it wasn't to my liking. It was way too small. The Q function button was a nightmare between always bumping it and then having to remap it, because with the later software updates you could remap it. So I remapped it, and the buttons I remapped it to was still just so much harder to use. And the focusing on it was also hard for me because I'm a back button focuser. So reaching across to get to the AF on button was kind of hard for me. So I kind of remapped the Q button to the AEL button, and I used the Q button to focus. Just was garbage. I shouldn't say it was garbage. It was just not for me. So I ended up taking it back and saying to the guy, hey, do you still have the XT2 in house? And he's like, sure we do. But remember, it's in good condition. I'm like, so what makes it in good condition instead of, excellent or, anything else? He says, well, there's a dead pixel on it and there's some oil on the sensor. And I figured, you know what? For the price they were asking, which was sub $500 for an XT2, I said, I can work with that. And if I have to edit the photo, to get rid of the stain, then that's fine. Looking at the sensor, I didn't see anything on the sensor, so I figured, you know what, let me just pick it up. I'll take it home and I'll be able to work with it. Also, Fuji has the ability to remap a dead pixel. So if you have one or two dead pixels on your sensor, there's a function on the back menu where you just run it and it actually just remaps those dead pixels. So you actually don't see or feel the impact of those dead pixels. So that's what I ended up doing. I ended up remapping the pixels, and you can no longer tell that there was a dead pixel on that sensor. Then the next problem was figuring out what to do about that spot. And initially, when I first got out of the store, I went straight to a location and I took a whole bunch of pictures with it, opened the lens wide open, the way the lens shut down so that I could try to pinpoint exactly where that spot would be. And I found it. got home and I was going to do a sensor cleaning on it, and I found out that I didn't have to, because all I had to do was blow a little super air on it with my, Go Blow Pro uh, little air gun, and I put the lens back together, took a couple pictures at f2 all the way to f16, and the dust was off the sensor. So basically, I got a pretty decent deal on a sub 500 XT2 body, because I was willing to work on getting the little problems it had tweaked. So I'm very happy, because it's exactly what I wanted to be. Now I have my Sony still for my professional uses, and I have my XT2 back, which is what I had before I sold it. It's one of those things where you make a decision and then you instantly regret it. But at the time, I thought we were going to be in lockdown for months. They were saying September, so, which actually that still might be the case, but they were saying until September. So I figured, why am I going to have two bodies around if I'm not going to use them? Everyone can use some cash. And also figured that the price on the XT2 was going to drop significantly once the XT4 was announced, which I was right, because like I said, sub $500. And the exterior of the body, I don't know if you could tell, is in mint condition. There's no scratches, there's no bumps, there's no bruises. It was just those two things on the sensor, the dead pixel and what ended up being just some dust. So I ended up making a really good deal. So the deal was so good that I actually went back and I picked up a 23 millimeter weather resistant f2 lens, which is my favorite focal length on the Fuji system. I do want to try the 35 millimeter f2 to see if that's something that I could work with on my street photography. I'm in no rush to pick up anything tighter than that, like the 56, because while I know firsthand that the 56 takes amazing photos, I'm not going to be doing a lot of portrait work with my Fuji. So do I need that type of a view, a point of view for that lens? Do I need that focal length? Words are not easy, folks. Words are not easy. So do I need that focal length? As of right now, no. I'm actually looking at the 16 f2 as well, because that's also weather resistant lens. I love weather resistant lenses. Now, mind you, I do prefer the view you get out of the 16 1.4 or the 35 1.4. But at the same time, I prefer to be able to take a lens with me and not have to worry about the weather. Here in New Jersey, we have all four seasons, and I like to shoot in all four seasons. So the ability to have a weather resistant lens on a super tank body like the XT2, it just makes it so easy to just grab your gear, extra batteries, and take 2 or 3 lenses and go. Sometimes no extra lenses. The kit lens is by far a great lens on its own. The 23 millimeter, I could shoot with that all day long. And I haven't shot with the 16 millimeter, but I am very proficient with shooting with 24 or 25 millimeter on my Sony. Also, another small change I made was I ended up picking up a 16 millimeter 1.4 Sigma lens for crop bodies to use here with my Sony. And you're wondering, Mo, why would you pick up a crop sensor body lens for your full frame body? Or something like that. It's your brain. You know what you're thinking. But anyway, the reason why is, so when you're shooting 4K on the Sony a7 III, it crops. So you go into what's called super 35 millimeter. And what that does, it creates, this 16 millimeter is still giving me a full frame 24 millimeter view. So overall, I'm very happy on the decision I ended up making. I went with the XT2. I got the kit lens 18 to 55. I got the 23 millimeter f2 weather resistant, which is a key to my world. I got this Sigma lens, and I have everything else that I've always wanted. Anyway, thank you for your patience. Thank you for sticking through with me in this journey of first world drama issues that I created for myself. And I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you whenever I post another video, which is probably another 2 weeks, a month, who knows. I just do these for me and for those few people who are strong enough to deal with this kind of torture. All right, guys, thanks a lot. Catch you in the next one. Bye.